Okay, I am so excited to talk to everybody about my favorite show, Love After Lockup. Season, I don't even know anymore, episode 2. So let's get started. First up in this episode were Deontay and Nicole, with 2 L's, 2. Deontay was ready and raring to go to pick Nicole up from her prison release. So he headed out. He got a bit of the bubble guts in his stomach, and he could hear his mother's voice in his head, kind of warning him to look for warning signs and proceed with caution with this whole relationship. As he waited in the fog, it was very dramatic for Nicole's big release. He saw her walking towards him. He got so excited. The two had a big romantic embrace and then a kiss, which left his entire face covered in her very light colored face makeup, which in prison was probably made out of like deodorant, toilet paper extract, and a little lead paint. However, they seemed to be excited to be together. He made a lot of weird sexual innuendos about like a chocolate vanilla swirl and like, like down boy, oh, bleh, knee. Anyway, so excited to see a little bit more of Deontay and Nicole this week. Can't wait for Friday. Courtney and Josh were right back where we left them last week, with Courtney in her pickle costume rolling around in the dirty parking lot while her friend went to go pick Josh up from his prison release. So he comes over and she couldn't even stand up and surprise him or say hello. She was just crying and rolling around in a pickle costume. It was genius. She was kind of like one of those pickles that rolls off the table at the deli and, gets like hair stuck to it or something, maybe like a rogue Band-Aid. I don't know. Anyway, he found it very endearing. He picked her right up. They got in the car and they were so excited to be together, probably a little nervous too, as her friend drove them to go get free world food, the best part of leaving prison. So, Josh thought the food tasted like sex, whatever that meant. Maybe he had dinner at Deontay's house, because I would assume that whatever you ate off of those plates that had been in his dishwasher never mind. Anyway, so the two of them were heading back to the house and he thought it was like a palace. He was so excited to meet one of her 14 dogs. I don't know, every time the camera panned, there was another new dog showed up, and they had a very large bed waiting for them where they were rolling around ready for the real deal. And they ushered the cameras out, so I guess something was going to happen. Can't wait to see more of them next week. They are probably one of my favorite couples from this. Rachel and Doug were on a roll this episode because Doug called Rachel up to yell at her and ask her to make sure she handles his parole and probation officer. So meanwhile, she thought it was so cute how cranky he was. And then she went to meet up with her mother for lunch and discuss Doug's big release. So while they were discussing the release, her mother reminded her of her previous marriage, which was to another inmate who was a heroin addict and had a lot of issues, and it was a big problem in their relationship. So she just wished that Rachel would, think things through. She claims that Doug is totally different. He just yells. He's not even on heroin. And he really, really loves her. And he proved that because he offered to get her name tattooed on little Dougie, which meant his genitalia, because things are just getting weirder and weirder by the day here. Anyway, I hope she has enough bologna in the fridge, and I can't wait to see Brittany and Ray. Honestly, at this point, we have so many other interesting couples that they're not really doing it for me. I think they're kind of like first season Love After Lockup. It was like, nice girl is with a bad guy, and like we have bologna, we have pickle costumes. This is not gonna cut it. You're gonna have to kick it up a notch, Brittany and Ray. Okay. So meanwhile, Brittany goes over to her upper middle class. She likes to say that every chance she gets. Her upper middle class family's house, which was beautifully decorated. The kitchen had these really random wall plaques that just said like Chinese food with a picture of fried rice. It's like American food with a picture of a hamburger. It was like, where was like Jewish food with like a knish, or like Moldovan food with like meat inside of Jello? I don't know what was up with the like weird stereotypical food plaques that just stated what they were. It was like very random. Not sure if that was a home goods purchase. All I could really think about in this episode anyway, because Brittany was just fighting with her parents, telling them about her new forbidden convict love and how he's being released soon, and she hopes that they could all accept him, which of course they're not looking to do. So hopefully they'll come around and meet him since he's done with his incarceration. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm still thinking of Quaylon and incarceration. Anyway, Good luck to Brittany and Ray, and you'll need it because you're going to have to kick it up a notch. We caught up with Stanley as he was sitting in his favorite toupee, in his Hugh Hefner-esque bathrobe in his house, on his like Natuzzi leather couch with his little charcuterie platter that he made himself, sharing it with his old man friend cat, Samuel. Received a call from Lisa, who was complaining again about how boy-like she looked because she had no hair, because apparently she got in a fight in prison and somebody yanked out her hair. Sounds a little suspect, but we'll see. Stanley is no stranger to buying hair, so he's very willing to help her out in that department. So he heads out the next day to a wig shop where the friendly saleswoman who was interested in this story for like maybe entertainment value as well as the commission, picked out 3 very nice blonde flowy wigs with a $1,300 bill attached to them. So Stanley, money is no object for this long blonde hair. So Stanley went ahead and purchased those as a surprise for Lisa upon her release. Meanwhile, Lisa called later in the episode as Stanley was leaving the wig shop to let him know that her brother was also incarcerated, and he was on a $30,000 bail, and she was really hoping that Stanley could pull through and help financially with her brother's bail. However, Stanley was not really looking to do that. He was kind of skeptical of Lisa's whole criminal pedigree, as he called it, because apparently Lisa's family has a lot of criminal activity and long rap sheets. So he's hoping that between the lazy boy and the charcuterie platters, that she'll be able to stay out of trouble this time. Thanks so much for joining me for another Erica Schmerka reality recap. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to hit the notification bell to get notified about all new videos that I'll be posting. Bye, guys.